Every year, the art department prints the faculty recognition awards. Normally, we print around 50 to 55 awards each year. Last year, I printed 30 awards. To do this, you have your plate that you've already made. This is an etching plate, solar etching. You use really stiff oil-based ink, spread it all over your plate, and you have to push the ink into the lines that have been etched into the plate. You have to cover the entire plate even though you only got lines on parts of it. Then you take papers, blotting the ink off, because your goal is to wipe the ink off of the surface of the plate but not the lines that have been etched into the plate. After this part, you take starch cheesecloth, or they're called tarlatans, and you wipe across the surface of the plate, being careful not to pull the ink out of the lines that are etched into the plate. A final step, you can look at your plate to see if it's what you want. Take a piece of paper and buff across the surface of the plate. This gives you your final check on how white your whites are and hopefully how dark your darks are. Last step is to wipe the edges of your plate. Okay, we use wet paper to print on in order to get a good impression. The paper is soaked in water for a few minutes to get the excess sizing out of it. And then you take two blotters, put the wet paper between it, and find your brayer, roll across the surface to squeeze any excess water out. And then you're just about ready to print. So we walk over to the press, place the plate onto a clean piece of paper. You want it to be clean so you won't get any ink on your piece of paper. Center your paper, put a cover sheet on, put the blankets down securely, and then you roll your print through the press. When you're on the other side, you open the paper, pull off your print, inspecting it for any stray ink, any areas that you might have wiped too much, or any areas that might be too dark. So after this, you go through the whole process again, each step repeating until you get the number of prints that you want.